How's it going? So let's get back into the code. Or rather, first and foremost, we need to create our model for the entity we want to make. So, and I thought, in Quake there is, for example, item health large. You can put it into the map, save the map. Maybe, you know what, like, let's have several stuff. We want a shotgun, right? You always want to have the shotgun. So, shotgun, and then we need some enemies, monster, and maybe someone who can be easily monster light. Okay, let's put a few of them here. Rotate them. Alright, whoop. Okay, maybe put the map, the health pack over here, and save it, and run the script. Where's the, okay, come here. Okay, so we were hit, like, we have 90 health left. So now we have this item here, and when we run over it, the screen flashes and we back to 100% health. So, and I want to kind of do the same for now. Just basically make our own entity that does exactly the same, but own model, our own code, even though we just copy the health pack code. But then we see how this kind of like works together, right? So let's start up Blender to make a model, even though we won't spend a lot of time modeling here now. In fact, this will be the only stream ever where the initial Blender cube, this poor little guy, does not get deleted, but actually we're going to use it. Rusty Blender skills. How can I modeling here? How can I, like, what should we make? Like, we go to faces maybe? No, this is edges, faces. What is bevel? Is this? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's cool. Let's do that. Can we extrude E? Cool. Yeah, I remember that. Like, maybe do this, right? I don't know. Maybe not that extreme. Like, let's say, oops. Woo. Oh my god. Okay. Help. Okay, I just want to move it down actually. So maybe something like that. And this is stupid. Can we just grab the whole thing? Wait, if we go back to layout, is it possible to just say scale and then in X direction? Scale X? Yes. Okay. Yeah, this is fine. This is pretty cool. Let's make it bigger. So now we want to make a texture and we just paint on it, right? And now I have to check if I actually, and this we add a new texture, base color. Yeah, fine. Okay, now we can paint on it, right? The brush size is a little bit too large. Can we fill it with a, Nothing like that is immediately visible. Beautiful. No, actually. You can see I'm quite picky with colors. The color picker, I'm picky. Green, I'm not sure if I'm in a green mood. Maybe go with that. And now, let's go back to the brush. Actually, what we need here, I think, material base color. So now we have it here, right? And we can also paint here, and we need to save it. Image. If we don't do this, it won't get. Let's go to the desktop maybe. Desktop is always a good place to store stuff. And call it skin. And we want to save it as a Targa file. Maybe. Okay. And save as image. All right. And now we take another color, maybe something bluish. That's not blue, dude. Okay. Right, something like that. And we write on it something, what should we say? No was here. So then we say here, coffee is king. And then we say here, Quake. Whoops. 2 rules. And we say thanks. Actually, I have a tablet. Let me use that. Thanks. Whoops. This is. Come on. Oh my god, what is this? Thanks. Id software for the source code. Okay. And then maybe we draw a nice something in a different color. Hello? That's weird. Pick me up. Alright. I really like this. This is really good art. Beautiful. So save all images. I've learned this is important in Blender. Otherwise, like, you close Blender and then the whole effort is like gone, right? It's kind of lost. Okay. Now we need to export this to the Quake engine's MD2 format. It cannot read OBJ, FBX, Collada, or whatever stuff. But now we need to load the Where is it? Preferences, we need to load the plugin to be able to export it to MD2. And we go to install, and then we just go to our Quake Dev, and then tools, Blender plugins, IO mesh MD2 to 8 Python install add-on. Okay, so now, by the way, I should probably mention like who made it. Dark Rain is the username. Again, I'm really grateful for all the people who contributed to make these tools and make them freely available. This would be like not as straightforward without all these tools. So we load it, whoop, close it. Now we should be able to go to export Quake 2's MD2. Yep. So now we deselect skip OpenGL commands. If we select it, I've noticed Trenchbroom won't display the model. Okay, it will load it and it won't complain that something is missing, but we won't be able to see the actual model in Trenchbroom. We deselect export animation because we don't actually have an animation. So now, for static models like health packs and the stuff we just did, there is always an animation in an MD2 file. It's just a single frame and a single animation. So, but if we export this, then like it will grab some random stuff of the Blender timeline, and then like Trenchbroom gets confused, the engine will get confused. It thinks there are frames, but there are no frames actually. All right. So skin name is actually just a name we called our texture, I believe, but we will run into some issues with that, and I will show that later, or in a moment actually. Then we say yes, we want to copy the texture with wherever we put the model file, and this actually we don't need for use shared bounding box across frames. So actually we don't have more than one frame, so like it shouldn't make any difference, right? So let's go to our Quake Dev, base Quake 2. We go to models, we go to items, and if we look into the pack file, like I should explain why I go to models items and then where I know this data structure from, and this is just copied from the pack files, right? If we open a pack file from the original Quake 2 installation, we see that models, monsters, object chips, all this stuff, and the health thing is here, like mega health, whereas healing, large, medium, right? This is kind of the structure we want to copy. So we make our own thing, Python, and I've done several things already for testing, right? We make a new folder, and we call this, what should we call it? We call it vaccine, and even though it doesn't look like an vaccine, it's more like 1,000,000 vaccines in a box, or 1,000 rather, which is cool. I'd like to have one or two. Vaccine, and then we call it tries, like triangles.md2. Like I call it tries because, as we just saw in the Pack Explorer, all the models are called actually tries. Okay, and then we say export selected thing. So it said exported. Let's see if we actually have it. Quake Dev, base Quake 2, models, items, Python, vaccine, and there is the tries, there is the targa texture, So, and now we have to tell Trenchbroom to kind of use it as an item, right? So how do we do that? Well, if we go to the Trenchbroom installation folder, go to Games, go to Quake 2, and then open the Quake 2 FGD file. Whoops. These are all the entities known to Trenchbroom, and hopefully to Quake 2, right? Otherwise, Quake 2 wouldn't be able to actually do something meaningful with those entities if it doesn't know about them. So we said we want to resemble the behavior of the health pack. So we look for item health, and here it is. So I think for health, if we look for health, okay, there are a lot of health strings, okay. Let's go through them if there is more actually. So here's a actor code is still broken, leaving this in because I know someone will fix it. This is because it's pretty damn cool. I have not seen that actually before. Yep, software development. It's funny. I don't want to bash anyone working on Trenchbroom. This is an amazing piece of software, right? Don't get me wrong here. It's just funny. At least they're honest. So, but it looks like this is actually belongs to a func door entity, or like rather entity brush. That's something similar to entity, or works a little bit different. But this seems like this is what we need, right? We have all the items here. This is all pickup stuff, armor, healing, and so on. So what we just do, we copy that and say models, items, and then we said we go to, where did we put it? It's models, items, Python vaccine. Tries MD2, right? And we call it item vaccine. And we say get a shot. Okay. Cool. Coffee's gone. That makes me really sad. Okay. Save it. By the way, it's not a bad idea to make a backup file of this file, just in case you mess something up. I do that all the time, so backups are good. But this should be it. We go back to Trenchbroom. Actually, we restart it. Otherwise, it won't pick up. Load our map. Okay. Now we click on entity, and now it says material file not found material. So we should have our vaccine. So here it is, right? This is the vaccine entity which built in. Can you actually see? It's quite sad that the texture is not displaying properly. But here, could not load skin material, file not found material. So apparently, the option when we exported it from Blender did not work too well. Let's see. We have skin TGA. So let's see, actually, this is a binary file, right? So we use a hex editor like HXD to inspect the file here. So now it only says material here. Let's look at what original Quake 2 entity looks like. Let's say healing, large, reload tries. So you see, it actually has a relative kind of path to the texture being used, the skin PCX, right? Which is models, items, healing large. Models, items, healing large, skin PCX. So we need to somehow kind of get this in here. The problem is we cannot just override this, because the way this format works, there's a header, right? And the header point has like, there's a table where all this, where are the vertices, the face, the UVs, whatever, where the stuff is to be found in the file, within the file. So if we kind of paste the path in here, the offsets will be probably wrong, I guess. Maybe we could just override it without changing anything, but then, because this is all 0 here, right? So we could just, actually, let's try this. We close Trenchbroom, no. And let's say, we say, so, items, I wanna actually, okay. Where was I? Python vaccine, right? So we go here and we say models, items, Python vaccine, and then we say skin.tga. We save it and let's see what if this is actually, if this works. Okay, entity. Oh, now we have out of bounds for reader of size. Yeah, we kind of messed with the offsets probably, because models, items, Python vaccine, try something to check the skin and frame indices. Yeah, we probably messed up the file, so this is no good. Let's actually, can we do Control Z? Okay, I cannot. Let's export this again. File, export. What happens if I say file path? Okay, this is all good. Vaccine tries MD2, export selected. What does it look like now? Quake dev, base Quake. Okay, this might be better, but maybe Trenchbroom expects this path not to be absolute, but rather relative to the base Quake 2 folder. I actually don't remember. Let's try this. So even if this would work, oh, that's okay. Yeah, path is absolute. No good. And even if this would work, it would be of no use for us, I guess, because we would copy this file to our repository, right? And then it's in a different location. And in fact, if we want to ship kind of this whole thing as a modification, the user might install this whole thing somewhere completely else and might not even have a G drive. Only Python has G drives, right? And then it wouldn't find the file and break. So relative path makes absolute sense in this case. So what I did, I showed you the tools earlier I use, and there is this Quake model editor. It's quite old as well. It was a little bit buggy for me. But what it actually allowed me to do to get the proper, to modify, I load the file and get the proper path to the texture output. And like, I couldn't force the plugin to do that for me. So if I go here, export again, so let's try this other thing, file name, export. Let's see, I always close HXT for some reason. That's a weird habit. So I only have skin TGA. And okay, I mean, let's try this. Won't work. It needs the path, models, items, and so forth. Entity, yeah. File not found. So same problem. Don't save it. So what we do now, I go into actually I close it because I fear that the file handle kind of gets like conflicts with other applications if I open it. So let's open this tools. Quake model editor, and it's this thing here. Yeah, thank you. So this is from an earlier. Can I just file open model? No. And I go to vaccine. Okay, file. And then I said, I think import skin. Oh, and the problem is I cannot load Targa. So I would have to, okay, this is annoying. Darn you file formats. Now I have to convert this to JPEG. This is annoying, but let's see what happens if I actually say save model as, and I say tries, and I say it comes from QME, Quake model editor, Quake 2, save. Let's see what this actually did. If maybe it's, see, at least it put the correct file path here. So now we just change this to TGA, save it, close. We don't need that anymore. We delete this one and call this just tries, right? So Trenchbroom can find it. Open Trenchbroom and we should be good. Okay, no complaints. Oh, item vaccine. And here we go. So unfortunately, the colors are displayed quite like awfully. But otherwise, at least the texture seems to load. And why these colors are off is probably because it does not kind of conform to the indexed color palette. Whereas the creator, Macon, of these textures made sure, I guess, that these are Quake conformant even in the TGA version. So actually, this is interesting. Oh, it actually, like, it's not completely wrong, but this is too bright, right? If I select, okay, if I select it and it's just completely blown out, but that's fine. But yeah, but at least this seems good. So we put it here, like maybe here. So save it. Now if we run Quake, of course, so if we look here, item vaccine doesn't have a spawn, right? It doesn't know item vaccine. I don't know. Why is it so bright? Let's continue. But see, the exporting is quite tedious. Now we have to do an additional step to convert it. And go into the hex editor and manually change from PCX to TGA. So I think what we should do maybe is, I think we should edit the script, or at least try to. Let's see where this is actually installed. Preferences. Oh my god, why is this? These file paths, like, they make no sense. C, users, Michael, app data, roaming, Blender, whoops, Blender foundation, Blender. Then we go to 2i81, scripts, add-ons, and there is the thing here. Okay, let's actually just make a copy. We call it, I don't know, Python. Whoops, Python. Okay, Python is writing Python. I really didn't want this to happen, but I think this is what we have to do now. Okay, what I do is actually go here, file, export, and see this, how they call skin names, file name, file path. So let's look for file name. Okay, there's a dictionary. Okay, this is where I select right skin file names. Okay, this is the function that actually writes the skin file name, I think. And here file path. I don't see the data name and base name actually. Doesn't it check for that as well? Was path and texture image file path. Okay, get skins, but this is something different. Util. Load image. This is maybe more for importing, I don't know. But let's go back to this dictionary. And we just add another option, maybe. We call it let's call it manual. And this is the display name, maybe. Manual name, manual file path and name. Use, I don't know, use image file names. Type in your own stuff, own path. Okay, types export. Let's see if this actually does something. All right. Okay, so we refresh. We deactivate this one. Okay, I could at least activate it. File, export, Quake 2. Okay, file, manual file, type in your own path. Okay. So I don't know how to conditionally make a new widget. But because I think this is just like the kind of the definition. I don't think we can actually use an if else, like if this is selected, make a new text box. But actually, let's first add a text box. Or no, like what we do first, if we go here, file path, or check somewhere up there for file path, right? So we search for this again. This is annoying. Here, right skin file names. If they have options, e-texture, file path, then use this. Max skin name. Okay, then we just add another one here. Else if self options e-texture is gleich what did we call it? Okay. Where's the dictionary? Give me the dictionary. Base, something was based directioner or something. Here, manual. We set it to manual. Okay, skin name. Sorry, where were we? Skin name, huh? Right, skin name. Manual. Then we say skin name. Hi, mom. Okay, let's try this. Refresh. Oops, this does not work. Else if self options. Invalid syntax. What was the else if in Python? Oh yeah, it was something stupid like elif. Like why try so hard to be different than other programming language? Refresh. Which one was ours? Python. Oh. It's loaded. Okay, it loaded. Cool. Export Quake 2. Thank you. Now we have to go all the way back to this directory. Oh no, vaccine. Okay, cool. That's good. I like that. We call it tries. We say manual file dingsbums. That was German. Sorry. And export selected. Okay, so it didn't crash. Let's see what it actually gives us. So material still. Okay. Let's see. Maybe I have to unload it first. Refresh. Load it. File. Export. Come on. Trace. We copy the textures. and set export. Hi mom. Okay. Now this works. Now I want to add a text box that allows us to type in our own path and the file name. Okay. How do I make a text box? So these are obviously the widget names. So let's see, Blender, enum property, operators, types, BPY, Blender Python types. What is that? Inherited functions. Is there something like string? Ooh. Polygon string attribute. String property. RNA. What is RNA? RNA. Let's try this. String property. So we say manual file skin name. Maybe we name it name. There's a name, right? Yeah, name. Skin name. Description. Type in your own cool skin name. Then items, I don't know. Is there something like is required? I don't know. Let's leave it at that. Let's see if this actually does something. So we refresh. Okay, it loads. That's always cool. Oh, this is amazing. All right, nice. Okay, unload, and now we. So I don't know if I really want to bother right now, just displaying this text field if this one is selected, because I really don't know how these widgets kind of in Python or like in Blender and Python, like how they really work together to kind of make more sophisticated UI stuff. But at least if this is selected, use the name we set up here. So now we kind of need to refer to that. So where we said hi mom, we want to actually use this one, texture name method. But I think now this is part of this other class, because this is an MD2 class, and so I guess I can say self options also, because it's in the same thing. Options. Maybe this works. Self options, texture name method. Yeah, let's try this. Refresh, loaded, it loads, export, Quake 2, we say manual, we say we go to the vaccine, we say twice, Don't skip the GI commands, please, and say models, items, python, vaccine, and then we say skin.tga. Copy textures, export. Okay, did not crash. HXD, no change. Didn't it just update, or it just didn't work? No, it says manual again. Let's try this again. Skin name. I guess it didn't really take it. To export. No, it doesn't work. So we output into the correct folder. Vaccine, I did partners vaccine. Yeah. Well, this is rather sad, right? Whoops. Let's go back here. Self options. I really don't know. How to do that. Oh, wait, this is wrong. We call it manual name. This is completely, what did I do? Manual skin name, we have to call it. All right, so where was it? How do I go back in this editor to class MD2, and then we have skins, right header, right skin file names. There we go. So we need this one, right? File, where's the thingy? Refresh, import, file, export, do that, go here, don't skip GI commands, vaccine. Oh, this gets tiring. Yeah, and then again, models, items, python, vaccine, and skin.tga. Copy textures and export. No crash, no complaints from Blender. Good. HXD. Oh, and now it works. Okay. So this is much better. Now we don't have to use the Quake model editor, and don't have to manually edit the MD2 file through a hex editor to make the PCX or TGA. We can just type it in there. Okay, so this is cool. Let's actually go back to Trenchbroom to just double check if this is still working. Yeah, there we go. So we're still here, all good. Nice box with, this is weird. actually. So I guess I didn't actually define a texture, not a texture map, a texture coordinates for this model. So maybe the UVs are not quite correct. So this is something I want to have a look at later again, because obviously this is incorrect. Like this, no, this makes no sense. This is fine, top also, but otherwise, yeah, this is incorrect, this side.